Hi and welcome to the video training of JavaScript. In this video training we will be learning about drag and drop using JavaScript. Thanks to developer.mozilla.org. So we have HTML drag and drop API built in our modern browsers. So we just need to know how to use that API. HTML drag and drop interfaces enable applications to use drag and drop features in browsers. The user may select draggable elements with the mouse, drag those elements to a droppable area or element and drop them by releasing the mouse button. A translucent representation of the draggable elements follows the pointer using the drag operation. There are some drag events that we can use in our application. HTML drag and drop uses the DOM event model and drag events inherited from mouse events. A typical drag operation begins when the user selects a draggable element, drags the element to a droppable element and then releases the drag element. These are the events that we can use for creating a user reachable experience. Drag, drag end, drag enter, drag leave, drag over, drag start and drop. So how to identify what is draggable? Making an element draggable requires adding the draggable attribute and on drag start global event handler as shown in the following code sample. So we have a function called drag start underscore handler which receives a parameter event, and on that event we start the data transfer, and then we have the window.add event listener on DOM content loaded. So when the whole page has been loaded, we start our processing, get the reference to the E1 element by ID and add an event listener on drag start. Then we have the paragraph tag with the ID P1 which is draggable equals true. That is important. This element is draggable. Okay, so we also need to define a drop zone. By default, the browser prevents anything from happening when dropping something onto most HTML elements. To change that behavior so that an element becomes a drop zone or is droppable, the element must have both on drag over and on drop event handler attributes. Okay, how to handle the drop effect? The handler of the drop event is free to process the drag data in an application specific way. Typically, an application uses the getData method to retrieve drag items and then process them accordingly. Additionally, application semantics may differ depending on the value of the drop effect and/or the state of modified keys. To implement this example, you need a laptop or a computer or an modern browser. This is the main source code we are going to implement. So let's go to the console and let me go into my personal outputs and JavaScript. So I'm going to create a folder called drag and drop. Okay. Let's set the permissions. Drag and drop. Drag and drop. Okay, I'm going to use the Sublime editor for this example, index.html. So we have HTML structure first. Okay, so we have the HTML index.html. Okay, HTML. Then we have the head block. Within the head block, we have the title. We can type in the drag and drop demo. Then we have the body tag, and within the body tag we have the paragraph ID equals P1. Now the property draggable should be equal to true because this is the element we are going to drag on drag start. So the event is on drag start equals, we need to define the function drag start handler, and we are going to pass the event here. style the draggable event width 200 pixels. Then we have the border equal 1 pixel solid black, and we can say here this element is draggable, so the user know that this is the element that he will be going to drag. And then we need to define the drop zone. So this is defined as the target, and on drop event equals drop handler. So drop have its own handler, and it also receive an event, and on drag end on drag over, sorry, and on drag over we are going to call the function drag over handler event. Drag over handler event, yeah, drag over handler, and it receives the parameter as event. Also, let's style this as well with 600 pixels, border 1 pixel solid, red, position absolute, and make it right, moves to the right, and then you can say this is the drop zone. So end of the div tag. Now we have to go to our JavaScript. So we come into the script tag and define the function drag start handler, and it receives the event as a parameter. And what we need to do is we need to start the data transfer. ev.data transfer dot set data, and in the data we are going to set the application type, and ev.target id, ev.data transfer dot effect allow equals moves. So when the object is being dragged, we need to show that it is being dragged to the drop zone. Drag over handler, so receive the drag over handler, and ev.prevent default behavior, and ev.data transfer drop effect, and it should be equal to no. And the last one is the drop handler. Function drop handler, and function drop handler, and it receives the event. The first things first, ev.prevent default. Then we have the data constant, which is equal to event.data transfer dot get data, and we need to set this same as the set data in drag start handler my app, and that is it. And here we are going to call ev.target.append child. This function is basically dropping the draggable element into the drop zone by get element by id data. Okay, so that's it. We have done our code. Let's try to run it. Okay. Personal projects, JavaScript, drag and drop, double click it, and it's open. So if I try to drag this element into the drop zone, we open it, maybe this isn't. Okay, if we try to drag this element to drop zone, you can see it has been dragged and brought into the drop zone. So let's refresh it and try it again. You see, it's very simple and straightforward. You can download the source code from my GitHub repository. The link is in the YouTube video description. You can find it there and you can just clone it. So let's see if it also works in Opera. Yes, it does. So you just need a modern browser basically to execute this example. And start from press. So this is the output which you have already seen. This is the draggable element paragraph, and we dropped it into the drop zone. So this is the second screen. Thanks for watching this video. Please do subscribe to my channel if you like this video. You can reach me if you need any assistance. I'll be more than happy to reply back. Thanks.